We welcome our guest, Myrette Al-Sukkari. Myrette, just a small introduction about you, an economist. She's a financial analyst and investment banker, head of research and reports. And Myrette also has her very interesting specialization as a researcher, speaker, and therapist of the emotional freedom technique. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Myrette. So you're going to give us a small summary or introduction in case people did not join us the last time you've been here with us on air. What is really your job in emotional freedom technique? What do you do? How do you deal with people? Tell us about it.
Okay, emotional freedom technique, actually, or generally known as EFT. It's a very easy technique that we can learn easily. Anybody can learn it and start using it. And it helps you deal with many issues, starting with emotional issues. It can also help you deal with pains in your body because it releases the emotions that are hidden with those pains. Because an emotional freedom technique is based on a science that says that everything that happens to us, including physical ailments, have an emotional element to it. And when we release the emotional element, then we can heal much better.
It's sort of energy boosting as well.
It is energy boosting also, it can also do that. But the thing is, it's based on Chinese acupuncture meridians, and they all think that our body is a mind and body together. They don't think
not
like...
painful this time.
Yes, we don't use needles at all. We use our fingers, which is fantastic, and it's easy. You can't hurt yourself because it's you using your own fingers on your body, very gently tapping it, and it's very easy to learn. We can teach it in an hour, basically. The thing is, it is very profound. I mean, you can teach it in an hour and people will get results. But then it goes much, much, much deeper. So you can study for years in EFT because it can do so much more. Today I'm going to share that we can help ourselves by it also reprograms the brain. And this has been proven, so I actually take MRIs and see what goes on in the brain. So we're going to show people today how you can help yourself by being more optimistic, using EFT as one of the tools. And I'm going to share other ways too.
Okay. So it's the power of using the mind and body together.
Yes.
So both of them work together. There's you have to concentrate here, I think. There has to be a high degree of concentration for somebody who's doing that.
You have to be strong as well. I mean, insistent to really work on your brains.
Actually not. That's the thing. It's so simple. We teach it to even 3-year-olds. That's the thing. You're not going to concentrate on what am I going to do with my brain. Because of the way the technique is done, it does it itself. You don't have to know very much. You don't have to be educated. You don't have to, I've taught it to people who don't read and write. So that's the great thing about it. It's in almost every country in the world. It's translated into 23 languages, not 23 countries, 23 languages. It's not very much in the Arab countries. It is in Israel, a lot. I was surprised to find the number of practitioners there, to my surprise, because I do have an aim to bring all the Arab people in. I want to make this big for the Arab world, so I went and looked in every country, Arab country, who's there. And then I thought, what about Israel? I found very few people. There's a man in Saudi Arabia, maybe there's 2 or 3 in Lebanon, nobody in Dubai, nobody in Qatar, nobody in Kuwait, Yemen. I went through many countries, and then I don't know why, after 4 years of doing this, I said, I wonder what's happening in Israel. First time I Googled it, and I was in shock. Heal Israel using EFT. They have 600 practitioners. For how many million are they? How many million? 3-4 million? I don't know. Anyway, we're 80 million, and the Arab countries are much more than that, if we put them all together. So definitely we need more. In Egypt, there's myself, I know of one Egyptian lady, and I know of 2 foreign women also practicing.
How long has it been known in Egypt here, EFT?
As I said, there's only 4 people doing it, so it's not very well known at all.
Where did you learn it, Myrette? How did you learn it?
I had to travel. I did take courses
in the States,
in the UK and the States. It's very big in the UK and the States. It was invented in the States by a Stanford engineer, actually. We can say, we don't say invented, we say discovered, because he put many things together. And the UK, the National Health Service, they help all their caretakers. They actually ask them all to take EFT because it shortens the period of healing. So you have the dentists, the doctors, the eye care, ophthalmologists, whatever, are being trained. So when I was training, a third of the class were actual doctors in the UK. And I did last summer also something in the States, the same thing. The States are not that open about it. I mean, there's many, many practitioners in the thousands, not in the hundreds. However, just recently, the Congress called them in last 1.5 years ago, after Obama came in, and they said, what is this? Because it has been used to treat PTSD. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. Who suffers from this? People who come back from the wars. The cases usually take 8-10 years, and people don't really heal. They're not they're not useful people in society.
So there were people coming back from the Arab world where they have been healed in the United States of America with the emotional freedom technique.
Actually, there is a huge Iraqi setup. If you Google, you'll find PTSD plus Iraq, Heal Iraq. It's actually not for the Iraqi people, it's for the veterans there. That's what's happening there.
So it's a way of not improving mental and physical health, but it also has to be in the system. I think that you want to reach the EFT to be in improvement of the quality of life of the Egyptian citizen.
Yes, of course, because it also does many things. As I said, it does. We say it does 3 things: pain, physical pains, emotional pains, and something we call peak performance or optimal performance. This is really great because in optimal performance, you do better in whatever you want to do. You can become a better speaker. You can become a better salesman. You can do better in your tests because you're asking your mind and body to work together. You're reprogramming your mind to help you. We all know that we don't know very much about our brain. They say 95% of it, we don't know very much how it works, or we're not using it, to be more precise. We're not using 95% of our brain, but it's very powerful. Of course, we've heard about inner powers. We have people who have used it have reached very far. This EFT, we are using this. We're just bringing back what is natural. You are not just a body or a mind. They're not separate. And we all know that. If you're upset, you feel pain. You feel you can't get out of bed. You feel lethargic. So what's going on? And it shows in your voice, and it shows on your face.
It shows on your skin and everything.
Of course, we're one entity, and the separation is wrong. The Chinese medicine, which this is a little bit based on Chinese medicine, they don't believe in this. They say everything is a body and mind together, and which is a fact, actually. And the world is coming back to this in many, many, many modalities. It is body, mind together.
And you have to really work on it, regularly. It's not just once and that's it.
It's very, we say it's very...
You have to practice this.
It's so easy, you learn it for the first hour. We say it's very forgiving. You can use it as needed. So you have a headache, you just use it. You have a little bit of pain in your neck, you use it. Your boss yells at you, you use it. You're upset because the roads are very crowded, you use it. You can use it that way. But if you really, really want to benefit, you use it daily for everything that happens to you. And then, if you're finishing all the things that stress you, you add to that things that you want to improve. So you want to improve your salesmanship, you use it. You want to be able to be a better speaker, you use it. You find out. There's a lot of people abroad who are using. In the UK, there's a football team that has their own EFTer for optimal performance. So when they go to perform in the game, they perform better. Swim teams have EFTers with them for optimal performance.
And it gave positive results.
Yes, of course. They wouldn't have hired them. Just Google UK and you will find they have this. And there are companies, multinational companies, who have their EFTs. I'll tell you something very interesting. Qatar has an EFT person on board of their airline. She's, of course, foreigner for the airline. She has an EFT. They have an EFTer on their management board staffing. That was my surprise too, but I was looking for Arabs. She's not Arab, working with their staff to make sure they're feeling better, they're not stressed. Can you imagine, when we get into the work we'll talk, can you imagine if everybody in their jobs in Egypt, everywhere, in corporations and in the government, felt good about themselves, felt energized, had removed most of the stresses? How would they give to their work? How would work be? So this is, multinationals abroad are beginning to recognize they're better off having people know how to release all this. I just read something recently, it's not EFT, but Oprah seems to have forced her staff daily to take half an hour off to do what she called either meditation, prayer, time alone. She did it during the working hours on her own time. She's paying them because she knew this was very useful. Then she would probably get more out of them. Instead of them sitting there at their desk thinking all the time of their daily stresses. So she's asking them, go in there, release it, if she knows about EFT, of course, and come out, start your work. It can do wonders for our countries, and that's why that's my aim. I want to bring it to the Arab countries really big.
Well, Myrette, I think it's, strangely enough that you were talking about let the sun shine in, maybe it was before the revolution. You were talking about positive thinking, you were talking about optimism, and you were talking about things that we are all trying to do now, or trying to bring back now. What exactly made you think of that?
I don't know really that was one of the topics I thought would really be important. How do we really have a positive attitude towards everything? How to wake up and be positive? Because once you do that, to me, it's a necessity, because your health will be better. Because when you're negative, you have poisons in your body. I guess it does come with EFT. That's why, maybe that's how I came up with it. Because when you're negative, you have poisons in you, so your health will suffer.
Okay. Do you mind that we take our first caller?
Yes,
because
go
definitely
ahead.
she wants to know more about EFT. Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, Maha. How are you, Khadija?
Hi, Riham.
Hello, Riham. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. You're talking about something pretty much important. We're stressed as a nation, and I'm saying hi to your guest. It's very
Myrette
enlightening. Yeah, it's very enlightening, because we're suffering from stress. We as a nation, because this is something that interests me. As a nation nowadays, and we're seeing these upheavals, how can we deal with it? And we're stressed, we're frustrated. We look ahead and we see dark. We don't see a clear road. So how is this line of work is different than exercise or the products working on better blood circulation and releasing stress? How is this different? The mechanism is much quicker, or I didn't get the purpose of it.
Okay, Riham. Myrette, would you like to tell something?
First of all, it is much faster. It's very direct. It goes to the programs in the brain. That's what I'm going to talk about exactly today. And I'm in very much agreement with it. I'm talking about the whole country. If the whole country becomes more positive, I'm an economist, you will have more growth in the country, because people will be waking up, going to the work, doing a good job. And also EFT helps you understand yourself. It is... okay. Because what I was going to say is, it is very profound in terms of, it sounds very simple like this, but it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you want to find your goal, your dream, what I did with myself, because when I learned EFT, it was just for me, for doing fun. And then I worked on myself to figure out, just by tapping.
And it worked.
Just by tapping, you will be clear. And now I'm actually launching, but it won't start before 3 months, but somehow God sent me already 2 women who need to find out what they're doing in life on this earth. I'm launching something to find yourself, your self-discovery through tapping. So you will find, and I'm not calling it self-discovery, it's about your success coaching. I want to coach using EFT because I want to show you how profound and how impactful it can be. I keep thinking how to help and serve so that I don't reach few people. I want to reach the thousands, the millions.
Of course.
And that's, first it was just about, I want to help somebody with a headache. I want to show people that you can remove it in 5 minutes. But now, as time is passing, I'm getting clarity more and more. And unbelievable, as I asked, it happened. I asked to be on the radio, on the masses, and then I found the radio calling, TV calling. I had the newspaper article. Just ask and receive, and that's something else I really believe in. So today is just exactly that, and it's not just theory, and it's not only just talk so that you close the article and it's, oh no, I'm going to give you very specific ways and in a scientific way, other than the EFT part, which is the very effective part. I'm going to tell you scientifically what goes on in your mind when you're negative and when you're positive. And then I'm going to show you how to switch the negative into positive. It's going to be a daily practice for a while, maybe a month, and then it will be so easy. And I'll tell you what, I've trained my maid. Now she always tells me, either other than EFT, she tells me, oh, madam, no, I know, say X, which means stop that thought from going through the brain. So that it is a training, and we're going to learn it now.
It's like a life coaching thing.
It is not life coaching. I'm not life coaching right now, but when you want to, you could come for life coaching through EFT. But just by listening today, you will get the whole gist of what is EFT and how you can use it for today to be more positive.
But we need experts, I need to be, under the supervision of an expert like
No,
yourself.
as I'm saying today, just by listening today, you will get the information and knowledge. Just take notes how to actually switch your mind, how to deal with, because it's simple. I chose the simplest things, how to actually switch your mind to be more positive. And as I'm saying, if you practice it daily, it's not like a homework. It's every time a thought comes to you like, oh, those people are horrible. No, it's okay. You're going to learn how to stop those negative thoughts. And when you do that, it becomes a practice. Your default actually becomes positive. And you'll be surprised that, and then after years, I don't want to talk about myself. When you're sitting with people and you're thinking, they're talking all the time, you're like, it is so far from you. You're just like, but you know what? It's not really like that. It's not
The thing is, I believe, of course, if there's a will, there's a way. But sometimes this negative force or negative power works unknowingly of us. That we don't know that this is not me. This is not my positive energy not working, or a passive voice always, the negative voice always talking to me in my head. But it takes, I believe you, it's a long-term thing. We have to work on it.
Actually, it's not that long. It's going to take you maybe a month, maybe less.
Wow.
What I'm going to tell you. Yes, it is true.
That's beautiful.
You do get the negative thoughts, but when the way to do, when coaches talk to you, what do they say? First thing is awareness. So if you're aware there is somebody negative talking in your brain, we sometimes call her the inner mean girl,
yeah,
or whatever we want to call her. There's somebody negative telling us a lot of negativity, or if she's an inner mean girl, if she's telling you can't do everything, anything you want to do, no, you didn't, you tried that before, it doesn't work, the country's a mess,
Yeah.
She's continuously talking. We know how to quiet her down.
There's no way it's going to happen.
Exactly.
ما فيش فايدة.
Yes.
It's hopeless.
Just give us a chance, listen to the whole thing, because you will find a lot in here. This was a lot of work. I actually did prepare this before the revolution, a year before, and I gave this session, I don't know how many times, not less than 10 times within like no time, and then I went to study and did something else. I put a lot of effort in it. I'll give you the science behind it, what goes on in the brain, and how you can work with it, because it's about awareness. Once we understand what's going on up there, you can deal with it. But if it's happening unconsciously, you can't handle it.
My question to you, and definitely Maha and Khadija will ask you this: how can you, the few experts who are here in the Arab countries, how can you reach the masses? How can you touch them and spread your knowledge? So we're in a transitional period, and we should be more aware of how to boost the good side, the good sides in our countries. You should. How are you going to deal with this? And if you have any way to contact Facebook or a Twitter or a Thing account, so we can reach you.
Okay. Yes, how can she reach you?
Yes,
Thank you very
I'm on
much,
Facebook.
Reham.
I'm going to answer your question, because this is what I love to talk about. This is my dream. First of all, yes, I do know we need to spread it, and not in only English. Of course, my target is Arabic. This is my whole story.
Definitely.
Okay, it started out with English with some great. I'm happy because I know you are going to be spreading it for me. When whoever hears it, these are my, what do you call them?
Mediums.
They're mediums. They're helping me out. Okay, that's number one. Number two, because of this first radio show, I did get called into, I'm telling you, in 1 week on 2 Arabic national TV channels. Channel 1 on one day, Channel 2 on the other day.
Have they been listening to this program? They
I
heard you on this program.
I don't know what happened. God
That's
sent
very
this.
good.
I don't know how it happened. I found those 2 calls coming in the same time, in the same week, and actually came one day, did this. One of them was live, the other one was whatever. So anyway, that's happened. What I am doing, I am on Facebook under my name, MYRETTE. I do have a newsletter. If you get
Sorry,
okay, I'll say it again.
Can you say it slowly?
Yes.
Myrette.
Myrette is
Yeah.
MYRETTE. If you just get on there, Myrette El Sukkari, you will find an EFT group. And then if you just give me your email, I have a weekly newsletter I'm sending people. I'm trying to also teach people, discuss other things in self-development, not only EFT. What are my dreams? Yes, I'm traveling back to become the trainer, to be certified to train, because I'm planning to have an institute here in Egypt with all the people. I was just telling Maha and Khadija before, I Googled all the Arab countries because I want to see who's there, because I want to put them all together and we're going to work together. We're going to work together.
Of course, it would be amazing for you
Egypt
to
is 80 million. It's the biggest. So it's very important for me to get to Egypt.
Yeah, and it's you know, it would be amazing if you could reach, you know, certain sectors that are not working and are pretty much non-working.
Oh, I am doing that. Let me tell you. I've taken a decision a while back to do this in Arabic to that group. I've given to people who are illiterate. So if there is an NGO, yes, and I know how to tone it down, so we're doing fine. In Arabic, of course, I have my slides in Arabic. I don't. I have my own way, so that I just reach them right away.
How to reach?
Yes. So if an NGO, I'm not giving the people who are running the NGO. Of course, they can attend, but I'm giving the people they serve. So if something like the Lions or Rotary call me, that's been a decision. No, I can't. I don't want to serve you right now because you can come to my sessions or see the television or Google or learn whatever. But I will serve the people you serve. So I've been to Meet Aqba. I'm doing in Maadi. Next month I'm going to be somewhere in Muhandisin with another NGO. They're having very illiterate women, and you will not believe how these people pick it up so easily because they don't have
It's pretty much encouraging to find people like you who are determined and willing to do.
No, and God is really helping me. I can't believe. I woke up one day and I said, how do I do this? How do I do this to reach those people? And then I found a call from someone who said, can you come tomorrow to our NGO? I heard about you. And I was like, oh my God. I just asked God and it just comes. So they started solving it for me.
And because you know it works on the pain, even if anybody has a certain sickness or ailment, it works for maybe relieving
stress
the pain.
And
yes,
pain.
Of course.
It's not reversing the
disease.
situation.
It's not mentally, it's physically also.
Yes. We say it relieves the pain, which means we're not saying you're going to. I mean, if your leg is broken, it's not going to
heal the bones.
Heal the bones. Although there are a lot of research about that it will heal faster. But anyway, we're not going to do it. Minimum, we will help you relieve the pain. You will not feel the pain. Let's say you have your leg and the doctor says you can take 2 painkillers a day. What do you do in between? Let's say it just broke and you're in the street and you don't have anything on you. Then you need to have to relieve the pain.
When your head is talking to you, always you are in pain. You are in pain. You can't get rid of it unless you eat your you take your medication.
In this science or this EFT is about that it is a blockage. It's an energetic blockage, and the tapping, the touching in certain points in our body releases the energy so that it flows properly. And the minute it flows properly, they don't have the pain. That's how it is. I want to get into our work because, you know, really we could talk for 3 hours.
Okay, and this is
going to be about...
It's amazing talking to you and knowing about your line of work. It's pretty much encouraging. Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Rehan.
Thank you, Rehan. And by the way, Dr. Myrette is going to be with us every month at the beginning of
the first Monday of every month.
So it's
talking about, of course, various topics. So concentrate today and take notes. She's going to talk to us about positive thinking.
I'm listening. I'm still
so, and if you said that wherever you look, you find darkness. Today she's going to talk about the sunshine. So a little bit of optimism, okay?
Yeah, we pray for it.
Thank you, Rehan.
4 o'clock in Radio Cairo here, and we're on air with you with It's All Yours, and this is your weekly Monday afternoon show. We're with you today, and we have with us Myrette Sukkari, and she's an EFT trainer, and she's a coach, and she's a researcher. And before that all, she's here to help
give us the
out.
know-how.
Yes, and she has something ready for you, listeners of Radio Cairo. And she had it because this is something she did just before the revolution. And I think that now, specifically, we need it more than any time else.
So how did this title come to your mind? And
I don't know. The titles, I seem to put very different titles on my sessions. It's really funny. Like I have the lose the weight. It's called I love my body. My mind doesn't give me the negative. I don't want to say lose the weight. I want to say I love my body. And it's just when I thought of being optimistic, I thought let the sun shine in. So
well, actually, we have to explain, Myrette, that everything is done by tapping. So you do it for yourself.
yes,
with your own
You don't need
fingers,
help.
no
With
medicine.
your own fingers
your own two
on
fingers
certain points.
in your body, and I will be explaining them. So everybody just listen, and I will make sure I guide you so that you know it.
Okay.
I know how to do that. Okay. So the session is called "Let the Sun Shine In," and why did I say "let"? Because the sunshine is there anyway, every single day. But some of us are not letting it in. We're not opening the windows. We're not opening our heart. So it is let the sun shine in. Why is it important? Let's talk. Before I start, I always like to put intention. So if everybody listening would put the intention. Why are you listening here today? Is it you want to benefit? You want to learn? And I'm just asking you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. Maybe you'll learn something today. Just let that happen. My
So it's
intention
both
is to
mental
give you,
and physical.
yes, and I always have intention too when I start my work. My intention is to give you this mind shift. That's number one. That you can be positive. You can be, and you will
Please
be.
do.
My intention also is to show you the science behind it. And my intention is to give you a few practices that you keep today and you can right away implement so that you know how to do that. So that, and in time, we will all become more positive. Okay? Now, why do I think that way? Because when you're positive, as I said, it affects your health to start with, and I talked about this a bit in a few minutes ago. It affects the economy, of course, because if you're positive, you get up out of bed, you're ready to do your work, you're ready to do something. And also if you're positive, you have hope. And I think now in Egypt, if we lose hope, we're in trouble. That's the most important thing. I mean, we could lose the money that they want to get, we could lose this, we could lose resources. But if people lose hope, they're not going to get out of bed. We're really in trouble. That's my aim. So the whole economy, just because I am an economist, I think about this way. People have to have hope. Young people have to hope. In the midst of this big, huge mess, I think 3 weeks after, in Feb, I started going down again and saying, I'm giving my sessions. And I just didn't say, no, it looks messy, let me wait until things clear up. Because quite frankly, there was a sun every day. So I didn't say it's too cloudy. No, I can do this. And of course, I'm seeing that this is my part in helping Egypt grow. For everybody to be energized and say, I can do it every single day. I'm over 50, I changed my career, and every day I wake up and I say, I can do this. Of course, there are challenges. I didn't want to be on radio and talk out to people. I was scared. I was scared to stand in front of people and tell them, the economist has turned into something else, healing person. But I just wake up and say, I can do this, and then let God do the rest. Okay? It's all about your hope, about your mindset, and you know what? You can do much, much, much more than you ever dreamt you can do. Okay.
So the first step, we have to think positive and be positive and accept the fact of facing ourselves, talking to ourselves to make something not control, I don't want to use the word control our minds positively.
We're not going to have to do all that hard stuff. We're just going to do the mind shift while we're sitting now. And once you have that mind shift, it's like me, I have implanted a seed in your brain. I'm going to today implant a little program in your brain. I'm going to remove a program that doesn't make sense anymore to most of us, and we're going to put a new one. And that happens is not I'm not going to do any magic. It's just because I'm understanding how the brain works, and that happens by awareness. When you understand what goes on, you will know what to do. Okay. God put us this way. We know what to do. Let me just start with the sentence of positivity is contagious. Very contagious. And the opposite is true. So, if you are yelling at if your boss yells at you, you go down and yell at the elevator man, and then he goes and yells at his wife, and she yells at the kids, and you go home and you yell, at your wife, and she yells at the kids, and she yells at the maid, and the maid yells at her kids.
So it is like everybody yelling.
The circle of negativity that you have created just because the boss this morning wasn't happy. So, first of all, I hope he learns EFT so that he doesn't do this to everybody. So positivity is really contagious. So let's talk about the positive side. I don't like talking about the negative. Let's use it the other way around. Let's be positive. And we all know, we go with people who are laughing, they're joking, they're enjoying themselves, we really have a good time. Our energy is elevated. So we're going to learn today how to do that and how to deal with that. Actually, I am going to change beliefs. It's about our beliefs. And we're going to change our programs, because now in my world, my readings, the program you can change. We have programs in our brains, like your computer. Some of them are not serving us very well anymore. And just like your computer, if it's a very old program, I don't know, Windows what, the old one, most of us got rid of it. Get rid of it, please. We're going to get rid of it. It's not doing you any good. And put the new one, the one that can serve you. Okay? So, of course, because I am an EFT practitioner, and this is my life, my world, and I see how easy it is. There's many ways to get to Rome, but EFT is the easiest way to get to where we're going to go. I will be using tapping with you. We will do 2 tappings today, and you just don't write it. You don't have to write this down. Just get the idea of how to tap for positivity, and you will be able to handle it. Okay? And if you're really stuck, just send me on Facebook or send me an email, and I'll help you out. So, can you change that program to be more positive? Yes, you can. You know what? Science says we have something called a set point, a happiness set point. We have set points in many things too, but let's today just talk about happiness set point. What does that mean? They have done research. People who supposed to be the happiest, they won the lottery, they won millions of dollars. They realized, they measure them, if they know what they were like before, they ask their friends what level of happiness, how happy they were. And then after the lottery, within a year, even if the money's still there, they're back to where they started out. Or even though they have won the money. Because that's their set point. They're only that happy. They can't move out of that set point. Okay? Same thing for people, they found the most amazing thing. People who have a huge disaster in their lives, like they lose a leg or they lose an eye. It was pretty amazing that they found also, people who did this research, and you will find this not EFT research, this is the mind research, that also they pretty much are within the same set point. So if they lost an eye, they found a way to say, this was what's meant, maybe this is okay, this is what I have now, I have the other eye, I'm okay, whatever, there are people who wish. Anyway, they found they have the set point. What is amazing though, we can move our set point. How to move the set point is, first of all, with awareness. Second of all, by reprogramming the mind. And how do we do that? EFT is the best. That's the best way I know of. And so we're going to learn that. I'd like to start, now having said that, I'd like to start with one tapping of believing, because of the listeners, because I know there are people out there saying, what is she saying? Maybe she has an easy life. We have so many problems. What is she talking about?
Will this work or not?
La, skepticism, of course, this sounds like a lot of theory. We've read a lot of this stuff. No. So let me just do something, that's why I said let's listen with an open heart and an open mind for this hour and see what happens. Maybe it's something that's coming for you. So let me do something, a tapping I call believe in the possibility of changing to a positive set point, to have that mind shift, because to have that new program installed. Even believing that that's possible is a problem sometimes. So I'm going to guide your listeners how to do this, because some of them don't know how to tap, and if they're not driving, or if they want to just park to the side, they can do that. But anybody else can do it. If you're not cooking, if you're just sitting for 10 minutes, you can do this. And it's only going to take about 3 minutes, actually. So what you do is you take 4 fingers from either hand, and you're going to be tapping the other hand. What are you going to be doing? From the smallest finger till the wrist, there's that space. That space that you would use if you were doing karate. If you were doing karate chop like that, you see those Chinese people doing, that's what we call the karate chop. I want you to take the other 4 fingers, just gently tap while I say something. And I will be discussing more the sentence, just follow me for now. And we're going to say, even though I don't believe it's possible, that I can change to be more positive, I'm okay. Even though I don't believe it's possible, to change to be more positive,
to change the way.
Using this way, I choose to respect my beliefs.
I choose to respect my beliefs.
Even though, we're going to just say that another time, even though I can't believe
I can't believe
by doing this stuff,
by doing this stuff,
I'm going to be more positive.
I'm going to be more positive.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Then I want you to take 2 fingers and start just any 2 of either hand, and we're going to take the first hair of your eyebrow, and I want you to just tap with those 2 fingers there and say, it's not possible.
On your forehead, in the middle of your eyebrows?
No, right at the
No.
beginning of the hair of the eyebrows.
Okay.
And either side is fine, and either hand is fine. So you're taking 2 fingers, first and second finger is the easiest. Just tap lightly and say, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Move to the end of the eye, where the eye ends, and just say, this is so theoretical.
This is totally irrelevant.
Under the eye, right in the center, just a lot of talk.
Just a lot of talk.
Under the nose, and just say, she doesn't know my life.
She doesn't know my life.
And then I want you to go where the indentation, right under the lips, there's an indentation, and just say, she doesn't know what I go through.
She doesn't know what I go through.
Okay? Then I want you to take your whole palm and just hit your chest as if right under your collarbone, the whole palm, and just say, maybe her life is easy.
Maybe her life is easy.
And then I want you to move under your arm and just tap there using your whole palm. How to be positive when all those people are, and I'm not going to say the word, you think of what? Horrible, horrendous, whatever you want to say. How are we going to be positive when all those people are?
How
To be positive.
to be positive
When all those people are,
and those
And whatever you choose.
you're choosing. Okay? And then I want you right on top of your head, the first third, and just the whole hand, tap your head and just say, how to be positive in this country.
To be positive in this country.
Okay, and then I want you to take the 2 fingers, and we're doing another round again, and beginning of the eyebrow again, and say, in this economy,
in this economy,
end of the eye, with all these lies,
all these lies.
under the eyes, with all those thieves,
With all those things.
under the nose, awful stuff is happening,
Awful stuff is happening.
under your, in the chin, yeah. How do I change when I'm so, and you put in the blank, I'm so old. I'm 20 years, I'm 50 years, I'm whatever. How do I change when I'm already so
How
old?
do I change when I'm already so old?
Okay. On your, what we call the collar, which is just taking your palm and hitting that collarbone slightly. How is this stuff going to help?
How is this stuff going to happen?
And then I want you to do on your arm, this tapping. It's called tapping, what we're doing. And right on your head, this talk.
This stuff.
Okay. I want people to think just now, do they feel they're more open to listening to this? After doing that? That maybe? Okay, let's go on. Maybe not yet. So let's start again with the eyebrow. We're going to go another round. And we're going to say, maybe I can believe.
Maybe I can believe.
Side of the eye, there is a way to be positive.
There's a way to be positive.
Under the eye, maybe if I listen with open heart.
Maybe if I listen with open heart.
Under the nose, maybe if I listen with an open mind.
Maybe if I listen with an open mind.
In the chin. Why does she believe so much?
Why does she believe so much?
On your collar, she says it's used all over the world.
She says it's used all over the world.
Under your under your arm, I could give it a try.
I could give it a try.
Over the head, maybe she's right.
Maybe she's right.
Another one time, again the eyebrow, maybe there is another way to live.
Maybe there is another way to live.
Side of the eye, maybe I could change too.
Maybe I could change too.
Under the eye, why not?
Why not?
And the nose, under the nose, I haven't always been right in my thinking.
I haven't been always right in my thinking.
On your chin, maybe I am here to learn something to help me.
Maybe I'm here to learn something to help me.
Collar, maybe I can shift in my mind and be positive.
Maybe I can shift in my mind and be positive.
Under the arm, maybe this shift will calm me. Maybe this shift will calm me. In the head, and it's not that hard to be positive.
And it's not that hard to be
Maybe it's not that hard to be positive.
Maybe it's not that hard to be positive.
Eyebrow, I could give it a chance.
I could give it a chance.
Side of the eye, I can be positive.
I can be positive.
Under the eye, I can see good in whatever happens.
I can see good in whatever happens.
Under the nose, I can find good in whatever happens.
I can't find good in whatever happens.
Chin, I believe God only sends what is good for me.
I believe God only sends what's good for me.
Collar, so whatever happens, I'm going to look for the good in it.
So whatever happens, I'm going to look for the good in it.
Under the arm, for the message, the change in the path, for the peace. for the message,
For the message.
for the change in path,
For the
the
change
change
in
in
path.
for the peace.
For the peace.
On top of your head, this is positive attitude.
This
This
is
is
positive
positive
attitude.
Just one more. The shift, beginning of the eyebrow, the shift in my heart that all that happens is for the best.
The shift in my heart is all
that happens is for the best.
that all that happens is for the best.
Maybe I can start believing that stuff. Side of the eye, maybe I can believe that stuff.
Maybe I can believe in that stuff.
Under the eye, I'll give it a try.
I'll give it a try.
Under the nose, I'm going to give it a try.
I'm going to give it a try.
Under the chin, I choose to give it a try.
I choose to give it a try.
Color, I choose to give it a try because it doesn't look that hard.
I choose to give it a try because it's not that hard.
I choose to give it a try even if it looks really funny.
I choose to give it a try even if it looks really funny.
And this is the last one, on the top of the head. I choose to give it a try because what have I got to lose except be more optimistic?
I choose to give it a try because what I have to know is to be more optimistic.
Okay, you can take a deep breath now, and usually we ask you to check with yourself. Are you more open to listening to this? And I did this because for people to think you can become optimistic, people generally believe they can't. They say, no, I'm like that.
I believe, Myrette, the words are so strong. I mean, they convince you to work on being positive and to work on changing yourself and your negative ideas.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
It's a
It's the
shift,
words.
It's a complete shift
And
between...
I have actually we started out with the not to believe at all, you noticed, and I moved you into maybe it can work, although it looks crazy maybe I can believe, and in the end, no, I can believe. And I lose nothing. So because I'm trained, I sort of moved you through phases because I can't come from the minute. I couldn't have started by telling you, yeah, it will work, I can work, it can work. You wouldn't have believed me, and your mind wouldn't have believed me. The minute we talk to the subconscious and something he doesn't believe in, he totally refuses it from 2 minutes.
So
we
the
are
first step
easing
comes when
it
you
in.
are in complete denial of this is going to work.
Not everybody, but because of this topic, because I have given it so often, and even when you just socialize and talk to people about optimism, the first thing people say is, no, that's too hard, this is the way I am. You can't change that 50. You can't change people. This is the way, the life is so, I'm stressed. You're not stressed in your life. You have an easy life. But my work is so stressed, it can't happen. But I'm here to say, no, everybody can, because it starts in the mind. And we started by doing a tiny bit of mind shift already. So for now, everybody who has listened, if they tapped with me, because the tapping actually does something physical. It's not magic, it's opening the file and saying, and letting the body release the other programs. It's very, I'm not going to say complicated, but it would take me hours to explain to you what really happens in the body and the mind just by touching those places. But anyway, just know it works. You don't have to know how the mobile works really, and we're all using it. Just trust it works because you will try it on yourself. So now we've just set the base for all of us for this session about that maybe, just maybe, we can handle doing this tapping and listening to this, and maybe after an hour and a half of listening to this, I can be more positive, and I will come out with ways to be more positive. Okay?
Okay, so that was the first step.
That's the first step. I did this just so that
The
everybody...
first step we started by, first of all, we said that...
But you're not
this is
going to do
something
this
you don't
every day.
believe in.
And you have to
I
say,
already did this for you.
Okay.
People who have listened are already okay now with thinking about tapping, and by the time I finish the session, they'll be okay. But I did that because I had to establish that with your listeners. But if for yourself, you're going to do something much simpler, and you don't have to go through all that. Right? But I had to reprogram that to start with.
Okay. So this is a free session on air from Studio 3 with Myrette Soukari. And hey, you guys, if you do
she's
this...
not talking about magic anyway. She's talking just about
and these are sessions that you
mind
get,
shifting.
that you'll be paying for if you were here listening to Radio Caro.
No paying anyway. So we're going to have a break and come back again with another exercise.
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the mind and how it works.
You and me should be alone tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight, yeah, baby. I got a reason that you who should take me home tonight. I need a man that thinks it's right when it's so wrong tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight, yeah, baby. Right on the limits where we know we both belong tonight. It's hard to feel the rush, to rush the dangerous. I'm gonna run right to the edge with you, where we can both fall in love. I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on the moment of truth. Out on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on the moment with you.
To It's All Yours, and we'll continue with Myrette Al-Sukkari. And Myrette is a practitioner of EFT, and we started this session already with a session of positive thinking and let the sun shine in.
And if it hurts, tap it away.
Yes, of course. That's my thing. Okay, let's go on.
And it's the easiest way that you can maybe get rid of something that's really annoying you, because this doesn't make anything it's not hard for you to perform. It's very easy. It's just by tapping. You use it yourself, by yourself, to yourself. So I think this is very easy and simple.
I think it's amazing because
and
you have everything you need.
We had our first step together, which is convincing oneself that things can happen.
Can change, yes. Let me talk just a little bit about positivity, and then we'll go right away to the mind. Positivity, do you think it's something that can be learned, or people are born with it, or what is it? What do people think?
Can be both.
We say some people are born not so positive, but you know what? They've shown that you can really learn. It's a skill. It's a skill like everything else. Like you learn tennis, like you learn to walk, like you learn English. So if it's a skill and it will help me in my life, then I'm here to learn it. That's what I would think, and I'm hoping that people will benefit from this. And it's also a choice.
I'd like to ask you about something. Is the environment, does it have
an impact?
Of course.
It does, and I'm going to be talking about what to do with the environment too.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to get to that, because in the end, I was just going to say it's a choice. You get to choose as a human being, as a person, whether you're going to let the environment impact or not. It's your choice. And you really can choose to be calm no matter what. People have been known to be calm in catastrophes. Houses burning down. They choose to be calm. It's a choice. And then when you're calm, you know what? You're going to be clear and you're going to act better. The minute you panic, you don't know what you're doing.
Where do they find those people, actually?
No, they do exist.
Which part of the world?
Yeah, it does exist, of course. So let me talk a little bit about, since I've said it's a choice, and then let me just explain to you what happens with your mind so that we know the science behind it. First of all, scientists say we have 60,000 thoughts per day, 1 per second. But the thing is, 95% of those thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday and the same ones we had the day before. We're just repeating all the time the same, all right? And if we're talking about negative, and 80% of them are always negative. And there is a reason for that. We were built that way. God made us that way for a good reason, but it's not serving us perfectly right now. So there is something called automatic negative thoughts. They call it ants. It's like you have ants in your head. And there is a psychiatrist. He has many books out in the States, Daniel Amen. I could quote many books, but I don't want to get into that right now. Daniel Amen is the one who talks about this a lot. Those ants in our head, which is the automatic. I'm saying the word automatic is very important. Negative thought. Our default is to go to the negativities.
Even if you're a positive
Even if
character?
that's how you would. It is the primitive alarm system that God put in you. You have to see when you were in the forest. You see a big tree. When you look at it, your negative should come first. Maybe there is a tiger behind it.
Maybe there is a snake.
Maybe there's a snake. Maybe there's danger. There's always things. So
true.
we are born this. They also talk about this, so I don't want to get into very much the psychiatry. It's the primitive brain working. There's a bit of the primitive brain we're still keeping that isn't really serving us in the modern world. And that's why when we get into stress, the things that happen to our body. Let me talk a little bit again about what happens in the mind. Of course, we have what we call the conscious and the subconscious, and each one has a purpose. The subconscious is 95% of your brain. It is running the show. It has all the programs. When you were young, you were taught how to walk, so it's a program. You know how to drive, it's a program. The first day you drove, it was very hard. You had to concentrate. That was the conscious trying to do it. The minute it is learned skill, it puts it in the back, in the subconscious. Alhamdulillah, because we can't do imagine if every time you ate, you had to rethink how to put the food in your mouth. So what's happening is the subconscious, it really is your slave. He is your slave. He will do what you ask. So if you Google it, as the same way you Google anything and you say, I always make a mess, or I always fail. You Googled, I always fail. What is it supposed to do?
Your faith?
No, it starts bringing you all the examples
failures.
in your life where you failed, because that's what you Googled. It works like a computer. So it tells you, yeah, remember when you failed in school, remember when you failed in the first time you tried to learn English, remember you failed in this, remember you failed in the oh my God. And that's why when we start heading for the negativity, we get worse and worse. And of course, very worse, we can get into depression. Because all our mind is Googling is negative. Okay? Given we've already said it's already programmed 80% negative. So we have to be careful. Knowing this knowledge, we have to be careful what's going on. We have to be aware. What is it doing now? So and the opposite is true.
Having this as a slave.
Yes.
So you are making it work. And how is it easy to change what
Yes.
has been in the subconscious by thinking the other way around?
Yes, we are reprogramming. That's why, because I'm saying it's a slave, and I'm saying also it holds all the folders and programs. Being the slave, I mean, it's exactly like your hard drive. It is your slave, right? You tell it, get me out Excel, it gets you out Excel. Get me out Word, it gets you out Word. The same thing with the subconscious. It's working for you to do what you want. It's not the programmer. You programmed it with the conscious, and then you kept it. So you can now choose to deprogram that. You can remove it. And actually, they've done brain scans and seen how EFT and other things can reprogram you. But you don't have to know a lot of how it really happens in the brain. I'm giving you the bits and pieces what we're going to do. So if I just tell you, when you Google the negative, and we've all tried it, you get more into the negative, let's Google the positive. And let's get into the positive. So when you say, if I fail, you will fail. And if you say, I'm successful, so what comes to your mind? All of us have passed at least grade school, and then high school, and then I don't know what. All of us have, I don't know, maybe gone through many relationships and made them successful at work. We have millions of. First of all, the fact that we're able to eat, the fact that we're able to drive, the fact that we're able to walk. These are successes. We succeed from the minute we land. The baby succeeds from the minute it takes the bottle in its mouth to eat. It succeeded in eating. So we have a lot of, and it's all there too. It's in the files, but we're forgetting that. So we're not. What I want to say, even in the biggest disasters, please refrain from Googling, why is this happening to me? What is this? Why is it that I always fall? Why do I always trip in the street? And it reminds you of the 20 times you have tripped. Okay. So what we always like to say or I like to say, ask better questions of your brain. So let's say you could ask, let's say you're having a problem with something. It looks like you're going to fail. So you could say, what would be the best thing to do about this now? That's a better question. When you ask better questions, it will answer you better answers. That's when you start thinking your intuition is working, or inspiration is working. Actually, because you've Googled the right question. You're asking it, what would be the best thing to do about this boss I can't get along with? And it will tell you, talk to nicer, maybe do this. It will immediately I have done this with many people, and they say it's amazing. Myrette always says, Google it. And I'm talking about the brain actually for the computer. Also,
So it's finding another way out, other than thinking of the negative thing.
yeah, because
Thinking positively.
when you're in the problem and you say, what is this? Why did this happen to me? I always trip in the street.
Then
It's
you'll
going
be
to bring
more
you all of
negative.
this. The minute you said, what would be the best thing to do about this? Then it tells you, don't
You're
wear those
willing
high
to
heels.
face this.
Be careful. Look, don't talk on the phone while you're walking. It tells you what to do. So we think it's like inspiring you because it has all the information, by the way. But you didn't Google that. So let's Google that. So let me give you a very easy example. When you wake up and say, why do I always feel so tired in the morning? It will tell you 100 things. You don't sleep enough, you're getting older, you're sick. And sick is the scary one. It tells you, oh, you're sick. And it reminds you of the things they saw on TV. A week ago, I saw Oprah talking about this very rare disease where people feel tired in the morning. And it starts telling you, because it's looking for all the, exactly like the computer, it gives you 100 things of all the reasons you could be tired in the morning. What about if you wake up and say, how can I feel better in the morning? You know what it's going to say? Maybe it'll tell you better not drink coffee after 8. Maybe it'll tell you you need to sleep by 10. Maybe it'll tell you you need to change your pillow. I don't know what it's going to tell you, but it will find your solution. It will come from a positive space. And actually, we're not doing tricking. We actually don't want to know why I wake up so tired. I want to know how to wake up feeling
In
good.
a better way.
That's the whole thing. But we're not...
We're not asking the
taught
question.
or something. So now we're just reteaching ourselves. That's why it's a choice how to ask better questions. Okay? Same thing. If you fall in a hole, why am I so clumsy? Why am I so stupid? And it will tell you why you're so
Negative.
stupid. So just tell it, and we've all heard of this example. How do I get out of this mess? And your inspiration will work. Maybe if I yell, maybe if I don't know, find a small rope here to get out. I don't know. Something will happen. Use my mobile and call someone to help me, you will start having solutions. But if you stay in that hole in the street and say, why did this happen to me? You'll go more and further into the Googling of why it is so awful, and you will not be getting solutions. That's how I'm saying. No solutions will be brought to the mind. It's only bringing one file at a time up. So you're asking for, why am I so bad? Okay, it's giving you to.
So you have to think positively and make a mind shift towards the positive and ask questions regarding to having solutions or alternatives for.
You don't even have to say, I want to think positive now. All I'm saying is I'm now teaching you to switch your thinking to these. I'm teaching you what happens in your brain. Ask better questions.
Okay. We have a caller
I
with
think
us.
we have a caller. Hello? No?
You lost it?
Okay, we lost the call.
You can call us again if you do have any questions to Myrette El-Sukkari, and we are talking about EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It's a very simple technique which works on the mind and body together. Myrette wants this to be part of each one of us' life. We have with us, we have a phone. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, hi Maha.
Hi, Azza.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you, Azza?
Fine, thank you. How's everything?
Everything's fine, alhamdulillah.
I was just listening to your program on the radio now,
Okay.
and I think it all depends on your placebo, what actually you believe is going to happen. And there's a very good saying that says, ask, believe, and then receive.
Okay.
So I think it all has to do with what you are willing to accept or what you really believe in. It's like going to a hypnotist. If you do not agree to fall asleep, you will do that.
What do you think, Dr. Myrette?
Okay. It's partly that. It's
Yes.
not all. Of course, believing will help. But what happens is, even if I tell you believe and ask and receive, you just fell in the street, what are you supposed to believe right now and ask and receive? I'm asking you now to how to reprogram your mind so you ask the questions to help you in that situation. Because we're not trained to, ask, believe, receive is what I'm following my life right now. But it's not to be used in this issue of how to become more positive. It is in the general. If you believe and ask, receive, then you know what God will send you, all will be goodness. You know you have a trust, it will be okay, and you do become much calmer. But that's the huge general umbrella. But what do I do about every situation? I'm trying to show, and remember there are many people not like you maybe, who don't even know about ask, receive, or don't really believe it.
But
I agree with you in many items, but there's one thing that I really believe personally. I don't know if it's true or it applies to anyone else. I think happiness or being positive or being negative depends on what you decide. It's a decision.
It's a choice. I just said,
As you yourself, when you think of something, do you think when you ask your mind about certain things, do you ask it and you receive negative answers or positive ones? Which ones do
I'll
you?
tell you something. When it does not go through, I know it was not meant to be. If I really, really wish for something and it does not come through, it does not happen, I totally believe I'm better off and it was not meant to be.
So it's okay. I understand you.
And I think being happy is a decision. You decide to be happy.
yes,
You decide to overcome all the obstacles in front of you. For instance, when I had my two girls, when they were very young, I wanted to go out. I wanted to have a very nice time. If I decided then that my children were a problem, they would have been a problem. I decided they were not a problem, and life went on. I think happiness is a decision. Being positive about your life is a decision. It's a decision you make on your own, and accordingly you act. At least this is what I think. I may be mistaken, but this is really what I think.
As I know, we
This
were
is
talking
correct.
today's Myrette's session today was about positive thinking, and it was about let the sun shine, because we said that I think that we as a nation, we need to think positively more at this moment, but at the same time, most people, maybe let's say 90% of the people in this nation now, they are all thinking in what's negative. Are you with
Exactly.
that or not?
Yes, definitely. And they have every single reason to think this way. But as I said, being positive is a decision. If you want to make anything a problem, it will be a problem. If you decide it's not a problem, it will not be. I believe it's a decision. Leading a happy life, no matter what your obstacles are or what your troubles are, is a decision that only a person can make on his own. You find people with everything in the world and they're unhappy. They decide they chose not to be unhappy. I think, as far as I think it is a decision. And also, karma, your placebo, all this affects how you react to things and what you believe in. At least in my case, this is what I think.
Okay, it's exactly what I'm. You're not saying anything different because it is about a choice. A choice
Exactly,
is a decision, so it's a choice. I don't agree about karma very much because no matter, even if you read in the karma stuff, you are responsible for your life.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
you cannot blame because I was born that way.
No.
And-
Nothing. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yes, it is a
Your
decision.
own decision. It's how you choose to lead your life.
Okay.
It's very easy to sit and whine over everything else and do nothing about it. And it's much, much easier to blame someone else for your unhappiness or your troubles. It is the easiest way out.
But the end result is that you want to take the choice. I'm helping them find how to reach that choice and why it makes more sense to make that choice. Because people will say, you want me to be happy with all that's happening in the economy. No, I'm telling you, the choice is that you feel good about what's going on. Find what is good about it so that you can live with it.
Exactly.
So because you've already reached that. I'm trying to get people to understand what goes on in the brain to make that choice. And that choice is their choice also. It is not about people and environment impacting them.
I'll
So
tell you
let
something.
me-
I personally think I was speaking to Maha the other week, a fortnight ago,
Yeah.
about the presidential elections.
Yes, I remember that. It
yes.
was last week.
It was last week or the week before, I can't remember.
It was last week.
My presidential nominee, whom I am definitely going to vote for, was on TV, I think yesterday and the day before last. And listening to him gave me positive vibes. At least he managed to reach me. So I think something good is going to come out. Just give it a chance and make the right choice.
Okay.
Let me just continue just a little bit because this is a bit of science too. when we are talking about rewiring the brain by asking
Thank you,
the right
Azza. Is there
questions.
anything else you would like to comment about?
No. This
Thank
is
you
fine.
very much, Azza, and keep on listening to us.
Okay.
And keep on watching. Maybe other nominees will maybe have an impact on you when we watch more programs, because really now we need to know more about each and every one of the nominees, because we need
Well,
to
we
know
have
more.
a
been
fair
listening
judgment.
to all kinds of people throughout the past year. My mind is made up so far, unless something else happens. But
Give
so
the
far,
others a chance, Azza. Give the others a chance.
Yeah,
Listen
if
to
she's-
everyone.
If she's
this is
convinced,
why
why
I
not?
did not name him.
Okay.
Okay.
Something
you
I have
did.
to
You
tell
did
for
last
myself.
time.
Thank you very
all the
much,
best.
Azza.
Thank you,
And
Azza.
it's a lovely program as usual.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
Azza.
much.
Okay,
Have a good day.
bye-bye.
Bye.
So one of the ways also we were talking about, because I said we've already now, we're switching the mind to think in a certain way. That's what we're doing. We're rewiring it. And we're also, or we reprogram it, if we say the same word. And also they found out that the intention, when you put the intention from the beginning of the day to be positive, something happens.
So it's an ability as well.
Yeah, let me just give the sign part of it. There's part of your brain called reticular activating system. It's a group of cells at the base of the brain, and it is responsible for sorting all the information that comes in. So when you've made the decision, the intention from the morning, I'm having a great day, you know what? It doesn't let you see the bad things. And I'm going to give you a simple example to prove this to you. Of course, the science is there, but when you plan to buy a car, and you've chosen, I don't know, X car kind, and you want a red one, usually you drive everywhere and you're seeing that car.
The red one.
The red one and the kind you plan.
Because it's your
Okay.
dream.
Because you've told your
Put it in mind.
reticular activating system. This is the science behind it.
That this is the car you.
It was seeing it before, by the way, but it was seeing yellow, green, and blue, and everything else. The minute you said, "I want a red one, a red Mercedes," it sorted out the info, because you're getting so much stimuli all day long. We said, so much stimuli per second. And it started showing, hey, there's the red one, there's the red one, there's the red one, look at it again, make sure you like it. So we use that in our work too. Intention. When you put the intention from the morning, every day, today I'm having a good day, or I'm going to see things positively, you are activating the reticular activating system to only see that. So it's like that you've made the decision again, as she's saying. When you decide to look for positive in your life, you will start seeing the positive. And you'll be amazed at what starts happening in your work. That's why I'm saying we make our work. We make our own film, no matter what's going on. Okay?
Yes, Myrette is
Let
asking
me-
to answer.
we
you.
did talk about this a bit before. But what I'm here to say, it is not about, it's a sentimental thing. It's about, if you learn how to train your brain to do it, you will start seeing that you are positive. It's not a conscious decision in the morning saying, oh, I want to be positive today. I want to be happy today. No, we're taking the skills. So number one, anything that happens that upsets you, like your boss yells at you, you start to say, why is he is so bad yelling at me? You're not Googling that. He always yells at me. Every day he yells at me. He's not a nice person. You Googled, you weren't with us in the beginning. You Googled the wrong question. Why is he so mean?
You have to
If
put
you
it in other
Google,
words.
how can I improve my relationship with this man who's my boss, you'll find 10 answers. One of them I could change jobs. The other one, maybe my attitude is not perfect. Maybe I'm late every day. Maybe I get a chill. You will find 10 answers that fit you. So we're learning today practical ways to actually do it. The end result is not about, it is happiness, of course, but the end result before that is to have the positive outlook on life. When we have the positive outlook on life, and early in the session I talked about something called the set point. But let me now talk about this, and as we go along, I think it will clarify.
Yusra,
I want to say
Yes.
this.
hello?
Yes,
Are you satisfied
I'm
with the answer? Would you like
listening.
to...
I'm listening, yes.
Okay, can you listen to us off air?
D'accord.
Okay,
Okay,
keep
thank
on
you.
listening, because Myrette has a lot of things to tell us about it.
I
Okay.
just
Thank
want
you.
to add,
Thank you, Yusra.
Okay, bye.
add this bit now again. I want to clarify, because I know this is going to go in people's minds. So I wake up and say, I'm positive. How is this going to work? It's as she said, sentiment. She's saying she's an emotion. It's a decision, but how can I implement? We're trying now to learn how to implement. Also in research, they found that optimists are a bit different than pessimists. Optimists generally, they always see what we call in English the silver lining. They see something good about the story, no matter what it is. So they lost a leg, they think, must be a reason. There's a lesson for me here. God is sending me a message. I'm going to see what's for me. That's how they are. And
Those are optimists.
Those are the optimists. They tend to forgive and forget really. They always think about today first. I will take care of today first. They're always, whatever happens, happens for the best. The minute they have this attitude towards the whole life, whatever happens, happens for the best because there is a bigger plan. So they're set to do that, right? Pessimists generally, there are a lot of things. I didn't get a lot of them, but one of them is exaggerating any situation. Poor me stories. Poor me. They never give me the promotion. Poor me. And usually people who are pessimists, they have all the stories. The boss is bad.
Why
the
me?
wife is bad. Mom and dad were not that nice. The teachers were always mean to me. And when I go out in the street, it's very crowded. What's going on here? So that's part of it too. And they turn to do something else that I just want. They turn to personalize everything. They think it's about themselves. They don't think it's about him. So the boss is yelling. How do you know what his day was before he reached the office? I'm not saying he should yell. He's allowed to yell. But if it's not about me, then I stop that there. And the negativity about he's yelling at me, I'm bad, dad used to yell at me too, everybody yells at me, I'm victimized. They go into victimization, personalization and victimization. I just gave a little bit about what goes on in their mind, and I just want to go as again, it is a choice. And what I'm just trying to do is to steer the mind towards the positive. And there's a very nice story that I think some of us have read over the internet, and it is one of the ones when you do self-development, it came out of self-development. It's about the two worlds in each of us. And one of them is fear and anger and worry and jealous and sorrow. He's an awful wolf. He's the bad, negative, black part of our body, of mind. And the other one is very happy and kind and generous, and he likes truth, he likes compassion, which we all have both sides, by the way. And the child is walking with the grandfather, and the grandfather is saying there are two worlds. And so the child says, and which one is going to grow bigger? And the grandfather just says, the one you feed. So if you're feeding the negative, it will grow. And you will attract it. Now, if you believe in something called law of attraction or whatever, you will start attracting in your life even more of that. Because have you noticed people who have changed 10 jobs and every single boss wasn't nice?
So definitely the problem is not with the boss.
They have to stop one day and say, what's going on here? And we've had sometimes children in schools who every single year, and the teacher is not nice. She picks on me. Every year. The universe chose you to be.
Because some people don't want to face themselves. They don't want to pinpoint the negative points
It's
in
the
themselves.
hardest thing to do, first of all.
course,
But
of
if you
course.
have this repeated in your life, that's the time to stop. But anyway, I'm saying, if we just do what we just talked about, there's gems in there. Ask the right questions of your brain. Ask the questions that will bring you solutions, not bring you into more misery. You're already 30, 40, 50% deleting half of the negativity in the whole day. You've already deleted so much of the negativity because there's a lot of stuff that happens outside of us. It's true that if I've taken the decision that it's not all totally about me, it's not me, it's their own stories. So the man who was very rude in the street and hit my car and started yelling at me.
So it's his problem, not mine.
Think about it. He really has a problem. He's miserable inside. He's yelling all the time. And he doesn't even know enough to say, I'm sorry. He's very angry.
Okay.
He's very angry. If you think of it that way, you'll think it's not about me. It's not that he's rude at me. That man needs help. In fact, what happens in time, you start to feel sorry for people. Like, my God, he really needs help. And
you sympathize with him at this moment. We have a caller with us. Hello.
Hello, Maha.
Hello, Iman. How are you?
Hi, Maha. Hi, Iman. How are you?
I wish I were Maha. Especially with the white jacket.
Thank you, Iman.
Hello, Myrette.
Hi, how are you?
Well, allow me to disagree with you a little bit. You see, I read English books about how to deal with life, and many books I read, they don't refer to God in their books. They say the power, the nature. And this is when I stopped reading and discarded the book and skipped it. My point is, I'm a lady of 50 years old. I have many hardships living like anyone in this life. and I've been in many episodes of sadness and depression, and I reach 3 points. Maybe this is the way I disagree with you. First, if any individual, whoever he is, makes something that makes me sad or angry, I should face him at once. Like, for example, you keep repeating the boss who yellows. I will never wait for a second. مش معقول. Never بقى. Never. Stop this, Zaka. Please, I can hear you very well. You don't have to shout or yell. Did I do something wrong to make you act this way? I had a big police officer in the street. I was waiting for a taxi وكده, and مش هنا, ابعدي من هنا. And I go to him and said, my dear sir, I had a father in your age. Never talk with me like this. You see, this is the first. Never question anyone regarding human beings. Whoever, even mother, father, brother, siblings, neighbors, يا ربي رئيس الجمهورية. Never put a pressure in yourself. Never. The second point, as long as we have God, Christian بقى, Jews, Buddhist, يعني anyway.
As long as you have faith.
لا مش faith. حكاية faith بقى. حكاية أنا بعبدك يا رب. شغلتك إيه بقى؟ هي دي. I worship for a reason. خوفا طمعا رغبا. These are the words used in our Quran. We never worship God like ربع العدوية. I love you because you deserve to be loved. لا مش مرحلتنا, مش احنا لسه ما وصلناش لربع العدوية. اعقلها والتوكل. خلاص, I studied, I go to the exam. Anything that happened between my home till I pick up the pencil and answer the exam, it is not my reason. خبطتني عربية, وقعت عليها قصرية زرع. It is not me anyway. وجعلنا لكل شيء سببا. I took the reasons. خلاص بقى. It is in his hand. انت عارفة Myrette, never in any book I read about this type of treatment, which I admire and appreciate and respect. You see, I have an open mind, by the way. I'm a physician, the traditional one, but I have an open mind for the new one, the Chinese وكلام كده كويس. But never they say it is in the hand of God. And thank you, Myrette, because I took so much of your time. Thank you so much.
Listen to the answer.
Okay, bye-bye.
For me, let me just tell you, for me, I think they do talk about God, because if someone decides to call it higher power, he has many names. Some of them we don't know. What is higher power? For me, I don't want to get into the God story. For me, I see they talk about God all the time. And anyway, so far I did the tapping, but even without the tapping, what I talked about is not any, let's say, I'm just talking about science. Our mind works like this, so let's do this. So and the boss yells, you can choose to answer him. But if you answer him after you're calmed down because you understood it's about him, he's an upset man, something's wrong. He thinks women are not worthy. Maybe he likes to yell at women. I don't know what his story is. When I calm down and say, it's not about me, it's about him, I'm coming from that space, then I could walk in and say, by the way, we are colleagues here, even if you are the boss, and I don't accept this. That's one solution.
This is exactly what Iman
But
said.
she's saying, I have to answer, and she's thinking that I'm saying that you have to just everything. I'm not talking about being positive and becoming passive. I'm talking about a choice to understand and to choose to be positive no matter what happens outside of you. Because God told us you are responsible for you. The rest is let go and let God, of course. But I'm talking about, I think if I talk to God, he would tell me, take care of you. I put you on earth to take care of you. Don't let your health go because of people who are yelling at you. What is that about? I want you to take care of you. So I'm now learning how to take care. Let me just go on, because again, it is just a mind decision, and it is a mind training. So what I'm saying is, every time you go to thinking I'm the victim, or this happened, or what happened, I'm not saying about you, anybody who does that, a lot of us do, stop that thought halfway in your brain and say, no, this is not about me. That's why I said the word personalized. we tend to personalize anything that happens as if it's happening to me. It becomes I'm the victim. So
well,
let
actually,
me.
we have a caller, this time a male. Hello?
Hello, hi.
Hello, hi.
Hi, I like your show so much.
Thank you. Who is it?
Yeah, I have been listening for a while.
Who's it?
This is Ahmed.
Ahmed, hi.
Hello, Ahmed.
Yes, yes.
So you've been listening to the program?
Yes, yes, it's very lovely subject. Well, I just want to say to just try to tell you some thoughts of what I was thinking about. It's about this positivity thing, or well, I guess it's very hard for everybody to be very positive. But I realized something recently. I read a book about anger management, and it's really changed a lot of my own reactions of anger, and it reduced a lot of my own depression and so on. So I guess it helped a lot to, I guess the positivity is about internalizing the reactions of the anger inside you.
So it's through reading a book about anger management. It's through reading this book that you that helped you
Yes, it helped it a
managing
lot.
or controlling.
Yes, to control the negativity. So because most of the people, when they are having high rates of negativity, they will definitely affect on anybody who they will drive him into negativity, of course. So he has to have. I thought about it reasonably that way. That I have to resist this negativity. So I have to get into some kind of controlling my anger and not to react aggressively or something like this. So I guess also it's mentioned in Quran. It's mentioned in a lot of quotations of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So I guess so. It's well, sometimes I talk with my friends all the time about it because sometimes they get very tense from what happens in work or with certain incidents around the life or so. So I always recommended reading just only this book
About anger management.
Yes, because it's all about it. I guess I don't know what do you think about this, Dr. Myrette?
Yes, of course, you've done a mind shift. The mind shift can come in many ways. If you read that, you said, I changed after. I have a different view. What is the mind shift? The mind shift is a new understanding. I said it in a way, I said it's a program. We had a program that understood things in a certain way, and we had a pattern of reacting in a certain way. Given the awareness and understanding by reading the book and there is another way, actually, you have chosen to adopt. There are people who read that don't. The minute this happens, that's when we had a mind shift. Means we took another way of saying it, we took out a program and put a new program. It's also a decision. From that day you decided, I like what this guy is saying in the book, I'm going to start trying this out and see if it serves me better. Definitely it seems to have served you better and you're feeling better, which it will, of course. Anger management is one of the ways. Start, if you just wait for a couple of minutes, I'm going to give some very specific hints on how to actually also do the rest of the reprogramming. Maybe the reprogramming word is a bit big for people to think, what is she talking about? No, not doing magic. I'm just saying we are being programmed every single day. The reason you go and eat from, I don't know which shop food, because of the advertising, it programmed you to say, I want to eat that stuff.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to ask about something that you were saying about programming the subconscious.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, it's a little bit a very tough issue. But do you think that this is takes a big effort or something like this?
No, it doesn't. It's not.
Maybe
let me just say something.
Have you heard Myrette when she was talking about the technique she's using? It's by tapping, and if you concentrate on what you think that you can do, maybe you can alter all this and you can do it at a certain moment.
Well, I read about an experiment that actually took place in England and in Australia about programming the subconscious, and there had been something like, it's called something like It's the name of the operation is called brain butter or something like this. But it's actually it didn't fully succeeded. This is why I wanted to ask.
No, this
about
is not an
I'm
operation
not
we're talking about.
let me just clarify. I'm not talking about that kind of programming. We are being programmed every single minute. Even the news you hear, you are being programmed. If you hear it all day long for 2 years or a month, you start to have that program in your mind. So the same thing with advertising. They understand it very well, and that's why they bombard you 7 times the same ad in the same show. Can you believe how the same kind of potato chips? And like you're saying, are they stupid spending their money? No. One of the ways to program a brain is repetition. That's why it took the child many times of falling until he knew how to walk or to eat. The same thing when you're learning a new language, we make you talk and write the words many times and things. Repetition is one of the ways.
You mean
helps.
practice makes perfect?
It's programming.
Yeah.
So anything like today, if I want to learn how to drive and I didn't know what happens, I have to repeat it, and maybe within a month I'll be very good at it, or at least I can manage. It was the repetition. The minute it enters the back and I can drive without thinking, I'm talking with my friend or talking on the phone,
Not reacting to negativity.
then I know I've been programmed it totally, and that's why when you've driven for 2 years, you can drive while talking on the mobile. Actually,
You mean programming the mind not to go on with the negativity? That's what you mean.
that's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm retraining my mind. You read the book. Actually, some reprogramming happened because you had a mind shift. And that's how we do. When we read something, that's one way also. You read something, and if you decide, I want to do that, and actually practice it, of course, the science says 30 days, some people are saying 3 months, but there is something called neural path that actually start forming in the brain. With practice, the neural path, as they form, then you know you've gotten the habit. And that works the other way around. To break a bad habit, it takes practice for many days. To stop nail biting, you don't stop one day and it stops, because the neural paths are in the brain. That's what I'm talking about programming. So actually EFT does break up or put in. But forget about EFT. Even without EFT, if you just talk about the skills I'm teaching, just asking your mind to do it in a different way. Try it out in a different way. Google the different question. Stop the thought. Let me just talk for 2 minutes. I'm going to give you very specific things how to actually do this. Also, every step I'm giving ways to do this.
Okay, Ahmed,
Yes.
keep on listening to us. You'll know the tips from Myrette.
And by the way, Ahmed, Myrette is going to be with us every at the beginning,
First Monday
of every month. So
Yes,
discussing different various
Yes, I
topics.
would like to join in your show. I love
Please
it.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Let me summarize something also, another way to help yourself. It's about your attitude, it's about your behavior, it's about your thinking. All of these come under the word choice again. It's your choice to have that attitude, it's your choice to behave in a certain way, and it's your choice to think in a certain way. All right, we're going to do all those 3 so that we become more positive. So the first thing I want to do is take a day and observe your thoughts. You will be surprised. Anybody listening, you will be surprised at the number of negative statements your brain says all day long. Okay, so your brain, well, all day long it's sending you negative thoughts, and as I said, it's 80% of your thoughts. So first of all, we observe our thinking, and start observing, why are you thinking that? What are the questions you're asking? So are you going down the street and saying, it's going to be crowded, those people don't know how to drive, they've gone crazy the way they drive, people are horrible now in Egypt, they're thieves, they're this, they're this.
Negative.
Okay? You need to stop those. Observe what's going
they
on.
are all preset thoughts.
They're happening in the brain, but you need to consciously now stop them. Say, no, I'm not going to think this way. And you can stop at that. Okay? And you can say, I'm refusing this thought now. Actually say that to yourself. Stop it. And if you have to yell to your brain, yell in the car and say, stop that now. Now I'm going to think about, I'm going to have a great day. Now I want to think about the beautiful moment I had when I sat with my mom yesterday, or I held my baby, or last week when I was sitting on the beach. That's what I want to think about now. Don't tell me that people are going to be hurtful today. Stop that mind. Talk to it. That's one way. And the thing is, manage your self-talk. That's all self-talk. And if you watch yourself, it will be a big surprise. It surprised me, because even before I learned about EFT at all, one time I was listening to the television, there was this Saudi man, he's actually a religious program, and he was saying, I want you to go on a fast of no negative words out of your mouth and no negative thoughts in your mind. And he said, this is the hardest fast I'm asking you to do. I was like stopped in that. I was like, this was like 7-8 years ago. I hadn't even discovered EFT. I remember I was cooking, and now I still feel, and I stopped. I said, what is he saying? No negative words out of your mouth. And the harder is no negative thoughts, because all day long we are giving judgments. This woman is awful, she's fat, she's ugly, she always wants things from me, this man is this house is this car is this. All the time, people are stupid in Egypt, 80% of the time. How are you going to be happy when you have all those thoughts? Replace. I have replaced a lot, I have not replaced 100%, but I do catch myself saying, judgment again, stop it. Judgment, because you're judging all the time. She's not going to come on time, let's see my maid. Again, she's not going to cook the food nice today. Again, she's grouchy. All the time we are judging. It's a hard work. And I think that's part of our religion. And that man was talking, he was a religious man. It really needs to be stopped. So the manage your self-talk. And I talked about attitude, behavior, and thinking. Let me give you some hints. Starting with attitude, you start be optimistic. Think positive. Believe that if you think positive, positive things will happen. It's true. This is a big story, and we have something in the Quran that says, "Ana 'inda zanna 'abdi bi." If you think nice things are happening today for you, believe me, He's going to send you nice things. But now, huwa abdi thinks everything is going to be crap. Well, go ahead. That's what you asked, because that's ask and receive. Be persistent in the positive thinking. Every day, it's a training. Every time those thoughts creep in your head, think of them as your enemy. Stop them. What I did tell my maid, I says, as it starts creeping in your brain, halfway, before it makes it to the other ear, of course I just told her this way so it makes, but I visualize it like this, stop it halfway, say, X, no, you're not coming in my brain. And look at for the positive in everything. That's what the other girl was talking about. If this is what God, in the end, things will happen in your life. You might have an accident, you might lose someone you love. I'm not saying it's going to be beautiful, but it's your attitude. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, this is God's plan. It was meant for my friend to die in an accident. It hurts me, I'm sad, etc. But sad is not about being negative. Sad is a different emotion. Okay? Your thinking, let me just quickly go through thinking. Observe your thinking. Sorry, observe your thoughts, observe your thinking. Condition your mind to see what's good. Read about positive thinking as much as you can. Read inspirations and quotes. Read the Bible, read the Quran. Visualize being positive. Just visualize. How would your day be if you saw everything as beautiful? Visualize your reaction. Next time your wife comes and asks for money, usually you yell. Well, just visualize this time that you're going to give it nicely. If you visualize it 3 or 4 times, you will like the way you look, and you will start acting. By the way, you're taking the money out of your pocket in all cases. So do it with love. When you start visualize, your boss yells, visualize yourself calmly telling him, could you please not do that, it really bothers me? You'd be amazed. And I had a woman who said her boss was horrible with her. She practiced some of this, I swear to you, and she was supposed to call the last time we were here. She said, you will not believe, it was my birthday, and he made a birthday for me in the office, and this has never happened for any other employee. Just because what does our Quran say? Min anfuskum. Start with yourself. Just yourself, your own little box. Worry about you and fix you. Stick to the feeling of happiness as much as you can and focus it on it every day. Do that. Just think that way. Let me talk a little bit about behavior. Don't be a quitter, because they've done in anything in life. Don't start projects and quit, because that puts programs in your mind that says failure or quitter and quitter, loser. Those are negativities. And they've also found the opposite. When you succeed in anything, people who quit smoking are so happy. People who lose weight are so happy. People who get the room cleaned up today feel so happy. People who make a good meal feel so happy. Do things that are positive, that you feel you're successful also. It starts being good for you. Use positive body language. Even if you find yourself, that's one of the first things, you find yourself waking up all scrunched, you can't stand, you don't want to stand, to straighten out your body. You will not believe what it does to the whole body. Smile. They have proven you cannot at all bring an angry thought while smiling. And you can all try it now as listeners. Use positive words in your talk. Meaning, if you want to say, instead of saying that's so, let's say, ugly, don't say the word ugly. That's not so pretty. Can you imagine just switching all the words? And I'd like to stop here and talk about a Japanese researcher who did research on words and the effect of words on people. His name is Emoto. He has a whole book. He has a big site. Emoto put words on water, nice words and not nice words. He froze the molecules. On water. He froze the molecules, and he found that when you say nice words to the water, just taping nice words to the water, the molecules were beautiful. When he said ugly things, the molecules were ugly. And from that research, they say, we are 80 or 70% water. What happens to our body when we're talking to ourselves negative all the time? Or what happens to our body when we're talking to our children very badly all day long?
Changing the molecules.
We're changing the molecules inside their body to ugly. Can you believe that? So we want to, that's why that man was saying, don't use bad words. I am training myself not to say, because that's bad, I say that's not so good. I don't, it's ugly. No, I don't want to say it. That's why my talk is, as I said, I don't say I want to lose weight. This is the weight loss program. I say, I love my body. It's totally different in the mind. Totally different.
But if you love your body, you'll just like it like that.
No, but I love my body is about you. I want you to love it as it is, because the minute you love it and stop the hate cycle, it will help you lose the weight. It will help you release the weight. I don't want to say lose, because by the way, I don't want to go off topic. The minute you tell your mind, that's Googling again, I want to lose something, the minute it thinks you lost it, it has to get it back. That's a loss. So I'm using the word release. I never tell the women, the people who join me, I have men and women.
Definitely there are other things about behavior.
Yes, of course. I just
Definitely.
took a few things.
Just a few things.
Let's just train yourself. What?
Because it's at the time we're talking about behavior and how to change your behavior to the better. We're talking about this time you wrote this, or you prepared this session before the revolution. Maybe 40 months after the revolution, a lot of people think that we have our behavior itself, our attitude itself has changed, because you witnessed an experience for about 18 days, which was really a surprise to each and every one of us. And then all of a sudden, all this is shifted to a completely different norm of life and behavior. Does this help? What we're talking about?
Yes, of course, because it's again your choice. Choose to believe there is a big plan. Choose to believe there is a big plan. Choose to believe, if you are feeling positive, that things will move better. Choose to see the good. Choose to find the good. What is good about this? Stop back. Don't be in the middle of the trees. Stop back. Look at the forest. And say, and ask, what is good about this? And when you step back, you will see there's a lot of goodness. I don't want to go into all the political things. I'm seeing even the most horrendous things. Let's say the people who are going to homes and stealing the cars. You know what? I think society has to step back and say, why did they reach that? We didn't educate them enough. I'm not talking about school. We didn't give them enough values to have their own self-respect, so they don't have to this, they can work.
Some people say that this is the reaction of oppression for 60 years. Is this an excuse?
I don't think so, no. I think for that specific case, it's everybody, every Egyptian has to step back and say, what was my role in that? Why did that man think he can steal my stuff? We didn't give them jobs, and when we gave them jobs, we didn't pay them fairly. So it's a sign. So I say, step back and see, why is that happening? And if there is a God, and there is a God, then why is he letting that happen? Because there's a reason. There's a big lesson for Egypt to learn. We needed to change a lot, not little. It can't be a very smooth revolution, because if it is, we'll think it's okay and we'll all be the same again. Same behaviors. There's lots that has to be revolutionized. So that's the positivity. It looks ugly right now, but actually there must be a reason for this. So you start thinking in a different way. I just want to give a few more. I don't think we're going to finish today, although I really wanted to tell you a lot more. You smile, you give compliments, you will not believe what happens. Your energy. Today as I was coming to work, there was a woman, she took out from her bag and she just threw a bag in the street. And all I said is, I just I shook my head and I smiled. So she smiled and she said, what? I said, where are you putting it? She said, in the street. And I said, and what is that street? She said, I don't know, it's a street. And I said, who's going to clean it up? It's our country. And she smiled back and she understood. If I had told her, what is this, what is that? She wouldn't have accepted it. So you can give what you want. I saw it as a chance to teach. I didn't see that, how could she do that? Although you will not believe I'm very much environment, I hurt when I see someone throw in the street. I've never thrown anything in the street. So give compliments a lot. I smile at everyone, everyone, everyone. And people say men, they will harass you. I've never been harassed. I smile in the cars, to the both cars, men or women. I smile. Today I took the metro to come. I smile at everybody in the metro. I just smile. And if it's coming from an act of love, you just want to smile to people. People pick it up. So that will help you. And my favorite thing is the gratitude book. Everybody get a gratitude book because it will do wonders in your life. When you go to that ugly place where your life isn't so good today, take out your book and read, because the gratitude book will be all the good things. Every day write 5 things. Today I had 5 minutes with my son. Today I got to work and it was fun. Today when I drove on the corniche, it was beautiful. Today I got to be on the radio. That's amazing for me. Today I took the metro and actually I love interacting with the real people. I have a car, of course, but I really want to take the metro. I love being in the metro. So that's a pleasure. Today I can stand. So that's my gratitude book every day.
So all those gave you the energy.
They give everybody. I want everybody. If nothing else in this country, if everybody gets a gratitude book. I know most of us pray. I know we say thank you to God in our fingers and say Alhamdu Shukr. But there is something about writing, and my religious teacher told me the writing does something. The writing does something with the brain. And then you have a document. When you're really in a low place, when you read it, it's like you're in another world, okay? And of course, get your vibes up by EFT. There's no better way. If everything else fails, tap every day for success, for optimism, for whatever is going on. Somebody bothers you, tap it. So just tap everything that goes on. You can tap in optimism by just saying, I'm having a great, you don't have to do even though. Start with I'm having a great day. I'm expecting great things. No matter what happens, I'm accepting. That's the accepting of what God sends. He could send the death of a close friend or a close relative. He could. It's his choice. That's God's plan. But I'm accepting it. And when you've already set the tone, I'm accepting whatever happens, you're okay. You're positive all day. So when they call you and tell you, you know what, so-and-so died, you're more like, well, that's okay. That's God's plan. And I'm okay with that. Things will change. Just practice that, and I'm open for questions. People can write on Facebook and ask. I love this topic. I think it's one if we become more positive, and it is not hard.
Can you just again tell people how to reach you and know more about
Yes,
EFT and about Myrette al-Sukkari?
Okay. I do have a website. It's www.tapt. Actually, the letters are taller than a palm tree, because that's my intention for all Egyptians and Arabs to feel. That's mainly
TAP.
APT, yes. Taller than a palm tree. And that name also was before the revolution. It's always been in me. Maybe I was preparing for it without knowing. Taller than a palm tree is more than EFT. It's about self-development. It's about these kind of topics. I'm putting things on for free. If you join my newsletter, you will be getting a lot of emails talking about how to change. Right now they're in English. My hope is that I get them out in Arabic, because I do have a target group, and it's the people who speak Arabic. Because in my mind it says there's tons of this stuff out there in English, there's books, there's everything, but I want the people who are barely with a high school or even 6 years of education to get this to them. And I do that.
Because you said that even children 3 years old or 4 years old,
Can
they
use
can
EFT,
use
of
EFT.
course. And you can
And
train
they
your
can tap for
children
themselves.
for positivity. Start whenever they say, so-and-so took my toy and broke it. You know what? I would say, yeah, that's not nice, but you know what? This gives us a chance to buy you a new one next time, Alba, if that's a possibility. Or that's okay, maybe he doesn't have enough toys. Maybe he doesn't know yet that it's not nice to break your toy. Maybe he hasn't learned not to grab your toy. So many positive things. Let the child see the goodness of it, at least the positive. If you tell him, yeah, he's a bad kid, I'm going to tell his mom, he's really awful, we don't want this boy in our house again. What are you building in this child? A little bit of hate, a little bit of anger. He's sleeping with anger. No, let him see that there is goodness in this. Maybe you can even offer that child and tell him, you know what, next time you talk to him, Why don't you tell him you're willing to share without him grabbing your toy? Why don't you show him how to play with the toy? See, it starts from the beginning. We want to do this with our children, with ourselves.
Make them aware.
It's all about awareness. That's the mind shift I talked about. That's the programming. I didn't, maybe the operation he talked about, I'm not even aware of. I'm not talking about playing with people's minds in that way. I'm thinking about
it's
a
about
different kind of education, a different kind of awareness.
This is you're going to do it for yourself.
Start for your own health, because when you let go of that stuff, let me just try and conclude. I do ask you to take, there is a 7-day diet if you'd like, and you're not going to lose weight, but you're going to be really well. So don't eat anything that is negative thinking.
So this is the diet
No
for
junk
being
food.
optimistic.
Yes,
This is not a
no
diet for
junk
losing
food.
weight.
That means no gossip, no petty talk, no news, no negative people. No negative people.
I love
Okay.
that.
All right? Count the calories. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. That's how you're going to count your calories. And keep it a secret for a while. Just play this game of being so positive. People will come up to you and say, hey, you're calm. What's happening? And then that's how we spread it. So this is the diet I would do.
This is a 7-day
A
diet.
7-day diet. By
Okay,
the time
can
that
you please say it again?
Yes.
Because maybe people didn't just get it
don't
there.
eat any negative thinking. Don't allow it in your brain. Put a big X when it starts coming. Big X. I'm not going to find a job. Why? Even in this economy, I can find a job, by the way. Of course, if I believe I will, I will. And there are jobs. No junk food. Gossip is horrible for the body. And now I know why God said don't gossip. No junk food. Don't do petty talk. Petty talk just makes a lot of noise in your mind. Don't waste your time with petty talk. That makes no sense. News. A lot of the news is very negative, so you will know the news. Don't worry about it. You will know when there's a revolution. You will know if there's I
Bad
don't know
news
what.
comes first.
You will know. Don't worry. People say, and how will I not know, live without reading the paper every day? Oh my God. You think they would have had a revolution? I used to even say something like that. If so and such happens, you think I won't know? Of course I'll know. There'll be a million people telling me. So you don't need a lot of news, at least, because it's a lot of negativity, because that's what the news is about. It's mainly the negative stuff. And of course, avoid negative people. And let me just say something. People say, how am I supposed to do that? It's my mother, it's my mother-in-law, it's my husband, it's my brother. Well, there's many ways. You're going to decrease the time as much as you can. And then you're going to indirectly teach them to be positive. So you're going to say, so your mother says, and you know what, Mom, I want to talk to you about something else. I read this book. I saw on TV the latest fashion. I don't know what else could find, and change the topic. After a while, and I also have tried this, and I have a person, she said, I did it, and it worked, and she's been doing it since 2 years now. This was also before the revolution. She changed her group of ladies who were always complaining into, let's talk about something nice. Without saying, hey, no, I don't like what you talk about, let me talk about something nice. She started saying, I saw this film. Let me tell you about the actress. Let me tell you about this. And people switched the topic. And then people got up after the sitting happier. Because how often have you visited somebody and you went home so tired? Or how often have you made a phone call to a friend and you can't do anything the rest of the day? You're so tired. She took all your energy. She sapped your energy. And
Without realizing that this is the purpose of you being tired.
Well, a lot of us start to realize and say,
Not
whenever I
realizing that
call...
she's the reason.
But sometimes a lot
behind
of
this
people...
tiredness.
But so if you become aware, you start realizing, whenever I call Alia, I feel like I don't want to do anything anymore. She puts all the energy out of me. I've heard people say that without knowing anything about anything. You start realizing, but sometimes they're very close. It's true. Find a way. Even your horrible, I don't know who's the most negative person, nobody doesn't have negative people around you, especially now also. You can switch it. Can we please talk about this now? And tell a joke in the middle. You know what? I'm dying to tell you this joke. And people just, you throw something, and it's also contagious. People start talking about, it's a tricky way of changing the setting, changing the talk around the table. Okay? Because sometimes all that talk we're not getting except more negative, and we're not finding solution. If you're sitting down to discuss politics and you are coming up with good ideas and you're going to send them to the government or send them to the media, great. Sit down and do the constructive stuff. But if we're all just sitting complaining, what is that for? That's we're wasting part of our life. How many hours do you have on earth anyway?
Well, actually, Myrette, we really enjoyed you being with us today and talking about let the sun shine in. So why don't we let the sun shine in and think positively?